What's up? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcasting channel. Thanks for being here, being subbed. If you're not, hit the button, and if you're listening on YouTube, hit that like. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into this beautifully honest reaction.
I was recently contacted by someone who wanted me to essentially represent them in the sale of one of the Diddy tapes. So, which I declined that because...
Wait a minute. Say that again. Say that again. Back up. You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there have been people already shopping.
We've heard about the tapes, but
yes.
The shopping thing is
yes, there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood. But one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of, and to contact the person who was in the video to see if they were interested in purchasing the video before it became a public knowledge.
I've heard this before, so like a catch and kill.
Catch and kill, correct.
Wow. Can you, and I guess you can't reveal the person who is on
No,
this
I can't
tape.
explain who the person was, but Mr.
High profile?
Mr. Combs was in the tape, and this other person is, I would venture to say, more high profile than Mr. Combs.
Really? Really? And you've seen it?
I've seen stills of the video.
Okay.
So
you can verify
that it exists, that it's real, that the other person in the video is very visible. It's no question if it's that person in the video, and I can tell the video is pornographic in nature.
Oh my. All right. So we know that he videotaped a lot of activities at his home, Diddy. And it sounds like there was probably a lot of hidden cameras as well. Is that what is being talked about?
Yes. This was actually in his Atlanta home, at
Okay.
a home he had in Atlanta at one point. And it does seem that the person isn't like looking into the video, so it's, to me, doesn't seem like that person knows they're being videotaped. It doesn't seem like they're active participant in the videotaping, like they're being surreptitiously recorded.
This Diddy freak off stuff is just so deep. And I feel like the term freak off is going to wind up being one of those new words that's going to be in the dictionary. You know how every year it seems like Webster's dictionary, they will induct a few words into the dictionary that were not really known as words, but because the phrase has become so popular and has been said so much, they wind up adding it to the dictionary. And I'm honestly tired of hearing the term freak off, because even with him calling the debauchery that he was doing freak offs, the parties that he was having, it sounds like the parties were pretty freaky, if you will. But it doesn't mean that everybody that went to the parties was doing all of the crazy stuff that Cassie said in her lawsuit and Little Rod alleged in his lawsuit that was going down behind closed doors. I don't think that everybody that was going to the parties was engaging in the freak offs. So I wouldn't call his actual parties freak offs. But I believe the freak offs were extensions from the parties, and then the stuff that he was doing with Cassie all of the time. And oh my God, like, I just can't even imagine. But this attorney says that there's someone who is higher profile than Sean Combs on the video that is being shopped through the dark web. And I'm wondering who that could be. Now, she wouldn't name the person, and I understand her reasons for not doing so. But she said she definitely could tell that was the person. And based on the way it looked, because she saw a still shot, she didn't believe that that person was aware that they were being filmed. And there's so many names. I wouldn't say there's so many, but there's a number of names that come to mind if you're going to say that the person is higher profile than Diddy. You let me know who you think it is in the comments, because I don't know. I have my thoughts. Some thoughts are people that are not melanated, and some thoughts are people that are melanated. Because when it says higher profile person, what do you mean by, of course, you know, they're probably talking about money too. But is it just the money? Or is it someone that's like an executive over and above Diddy? Because I would say that Jay-Z and Diddy would be somewhat on the same level, fame-wise and money-wise, even though money-wise, I believe Sean was a little below Jay-Z on that net worth level, but not too far off. I don't think so, at least. But some people are saying they think it might be Clive Davis. And Clive Davis is in his 90s now. I honestly don't think that it would be Sean Combs and Clive Davis. And I can't even imagine those two with another person. I could see the two of them doing stuff together over the years. I could see that, but I don't really see and vision, which I don't want to vision, but I just can't visualize Sean Combs, Clive Davis, and another female. Because to me, Clive Davis, to me, I believe is gay. And Sean Combs, I would see more bisexual and probably preferring men more than women. Because to me, it felt like he was more so utilizing women for his public image and persona. And then in the privacy, behind the closed doors, in the hotel suites, because it sounds like from what his former bodyguard was saying, was that a lot of the stuff that he would do, he would go to the hotels to do. It wasn't really a whole lot of going down at his house, but I'm quite sure it was probably happening there too. I don't know. But who do you all think the person could be that was a higher profile person than Diddy? I'm just curious, but I honestly just don't feel like it would have been Clive Davis. Now, the Neighborhood Talk, they shared this, and they shared where Russell Simmons liked the post about the tapes being shopped around Hollywood. So would you think it would be him? And he's gone. He ain't coming back to the States. He's in Bali for good. If he sneaks in and sneaks out, I don't know if he would. I don't know. I don't know how that stuff works when you fly private with your private plane and you come through the airport. I don't know if he has to go through customs or not. I don't know. But I'm curious as to who it could be. But listen, I don't know where all of this is going to go when it comes to him being locked up, if he's going to eventually get some type of bond, because they're going to try again. Because if he does go to trial, if he doesn't plead out and bring some other people down, name some names to try to shorten his time, a trial isn't going to happen anytime soon. I don't see a trial happening in less than 9 months. I just don't, especially with this being an election year. So with that being said, more and more civil lawsuits are racking up. So 50 more alleged SA victims, including minors at the time when it happened, men and women, have come out of the woodworks to file these lawsuits against him. So even if he winds up striking a deal or going through trial and getting 10 years or something like that, because he's in his 50s right now, if he lives and he gets like 10 years in prison, 10, 15 years, whatever, he could still get out. He won't have any money left. It's not looking that way, because 50 more alleged SA victims. We know Dawn Richard, she's filed a lawsuit against him. He had that huge payout that he had to pay Cassie last year. The other woman that Tasha K had interviewed several months ago on her app, well, the interview was on her app, I should say, and a lot of people thought she was crazy and, oh, she's lying, she's just a stripper, she's just a PORN actor. She is nobody. She's lying. Well, an attorney took her case and she has a lawsuit filed against him for sex trafficking. So somebody thought that her claims were legitimate. And I don't see her as someone that had money to pay a retainer fee. So I don't believe that an attorney would take her case unless they believe that there was something that they could get out of it. Because if anybody's going to win in these situations, it's going to be the attorneys. So Texas attorney Tony Busby has been appointed to represent a group of alleged victims in a case involving Diddy, who is reportedly experiencing extreme anxiety in prison and refusing to eat due to fears of potential harm. So his Instagram post says, the Busby law firm has been associated by the Ava Law Group to act as lead counsel to pursue claims on behalf of more than 50 individuals who suffered SA and abuse, you know what that is, at the hands of Sean Diddy Combs and his cohorts. So he's not the only one that's going to be getting sued. This group of brave individuals include both men and women. Many were minors when the abuse occurred. Some of these brave individuals reported the incidents to the police, others did not. Each individual story is gut-wrenching and heartbreaking. The acts complained of occurred at hotels, private homes, and also at the infamous P. Diddy freak-off parties. Child, YouTube is going to start censoring the word freak-off. I might stop saying that word. But anyway, the violations against this group of individuals are mind-boggling and can only be described as debauchery and depravity exacted by powerful people against minors and the weak. And it's funny because I've been saying debauchery. Anyway, I expect the group seeking redress will grow as this case progresses. I expect many other individuals will be implicated. We expect to have a press conference early next week where some of these stories can be told as the nation learns more and grapples with the potential scope of this scandal. Our firm has always been at the forefront of the most important cases in the U.S. We are proud to represent this group of brave souls and pray for justice on their behalf. If you know of an individual seeking assistance who was abused, as described above, please don't hesitate to encourage them to contact our firm. The consultation is confidential. And then he had a press release that he posted, and it says, the Busby Law Firm and Ava Law Group to release information regarding pending lawsuits. The Busby Law Firm and the Ava Law Group will hold a press conference on Tuesday at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time at the Busby Law Firm, Houston office, 75th floor, J.P. Morgan Chase Tower, 600 Travis, Houston, Texas. Zip code is whatever. At the press conference, information will be made available for the first time to the public regarding claims made by victims against Sean Diddy Combs and other claims made by victims against Sean Diddy Combs and other alleged perpetrators where RAPE, SA, and exploitation are alleged. At the conference, lead counsel Tony Busby will release pertinent details regarding cases that will be filed on behalf of what is now well over 100 alleged victims. My God. Details provided at the conference will include info regarding other potential defendants. See, that's what I said. Info about the claimants themselves, where the alleged activity occurred and what allegedly occurred. Mr. Busby also intends to share specific compelling stories of victims and take questions. Also at the conference, Mr. Busby will discuss the various state laws that apply, the venues where the cases will be filed, and expected next steps. Further, at the conference, Andrew Van Arsdale, co-counsel and attorney with the Ava Law Group, will publish the SA hotline and explain the process when witnesses or victims call that number. Listen, we're going to stay tuned for the press conference that's going to be coming up here in a couple of days because this is intense. Well over 100 people Now, some people may say, oh, these people are just trying to jump on the bandwagon. But I can honestly say that I would not doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. Because if you consider the fact that he is in his 50s right now, and this type of stuff had been going on just with Cassie alone, not that he was doing it with her alone, but I'm just saying, using her as an example of how many years he was dealing with her and all of the years that she had experienced, what she experienced, 10 years. So if you consider people are talking about what they experienced at the hands of this man back in the early 90s, early to mid 90s or whatever, and coming up to this time, I don't believe that people should dismiss people to say, oh, well, that happened a long time ago. This is intense. And if you consider the fact that there were some people that actually did either one, go to the police to report, and their claims were not taken seriously, or they just were like, well, blah, 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 blah. And so it wasn't really pursued, or they knew that they would not be believed or would not be taken seriously. So they just tried to learn to live with the pain that they were inflicted and that they were under. I'm just saying, people can't dismiss the stuff that people have went through just because he may not have been some masked man in an alley that snatched up a woman, threw her down, and had his way with her. That type of taken advantage of situation, which does happen. All victims are victims. Not everyone that comes forward, of course, is telling the truth, but we have to give I wouldn't even say the same amount of scrutiny, but we really need to save the scrutiny for the victims versus trying to defend the defendant or the accused to say, oh, well, this person has a lot to lose. They have children. They have this. They have that. Well, what about the victim? And so with all of that being said, guys, this is intense. At this point in time, they said it's well over 100 victims. I don't think that they're just going to allow anyone to be named as a victim. I'm quite sure that they're doing intense background information and trying their best to get as many receipts and recollection as possible to make sure that this is not somebody who is just trying to jump on the bandwagon to see if they can get a check, So you let me know, guys, what you think about all of this. Thanks for being here, liking, and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.